Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick update on consultations that we have run this quarter, the first quarter of 2021, and also a quick peek at the Premier support update. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, so consultation activity during the first quarter of 2021. We opened a consultation on 8 February and closed it on 8 March about the future of ARIN's unauthenticated IRR. We had 11 responses. The highlights of that will cause ARIN to be extending the availability of our non-authenticated IRR for an additional 6 months. We've set a final retirement date of 31 March 2022. We will be doing a lot of outreach to customers that have records in ARIN's non-authenticated IRR to inform them of the options that they have and provide necessary assistance to ensure that we don't cause any glitches in their operations. And also, engineering will be reporting on specific implementation changes as we go along. We did another consultation that we opened on 16 February and closed on 16 March with 37 responses, and it was on password security for ARIN Online accounts. The outcome of that consultation is ARIN's going to change its password policies to better align with NIST SP 800-63B. Proposed passwords will be checked against a list that contains values known to be compromised. The way this is all going to be implemented will be covered by Mark Costers in his presentation, so I won't go too much into that. We're also looking at future improvements to add functionality to allow organizations that wish to require 2FA, two-factor authentication, for anybody that they have in their organizations that have access to their ARIN accounts and their resources. We also have a consultation ongoing that just went out on Friday. It will close on 10 May. We always have the option of extending consultations depending on the amount of feedback and the discussion that's ongoing. So that is open right now, and we are accepting replies to that consult. Next slide. So our Premier support plan update. Next slide. So we have put together a Premier support plan. It's right now geared towards the all organizations that are 2XL and larger. So 2XL, 3XL, 4XL, and 5XL. It's approximately 58 customers at this time. And what we'll be providing in the Premier support plan implementation is there'll be a dedicated account analyst. So each one of those accounts in those categories will have an assigned account analyst from RSD that will stay current on their accounts and will be available to provide those organizations with structured information about their requests, and will also help with any escalations that might be required for their tickets or any other issue that they may have. There'll be priority ticket handling. So tickets associated with these accounts will receive priority handling when requested. It won't be every ticket. Every ticket does not require escalation. So when there's a ticket that does require priority handling, the organization will have to let RSD know that, and RSD will take appropriate actions on that. They'll have a direct technical services liaison that will be available during the ARIN normal business hours for assistance with RPKI, IRR, DNSSEC, other technical services. We have extended our 24/7 on-call support from 8 customers that have been participating out to those 58 customers now. There'll be a Premier Services customer focus group, which will probably once a quarter or so, we will have customers, we will invite these customers to a roundtable with executive management, with the CEO, John Curran, myself, the CFO, the COO, Director of Comms, RSD, FSD, CFO, to just have focus groups and just hear from them, hear how we're doing, what we need to do better, and how we can help them to be more successful with using their ARIN resources. And there will also be waived transfer fees for these customers, these 58 customers. So transaction fees will be waived on any internet number resource transfer. Next slide, please. Premier Support Plan timeline. So what we're doing in late 2020, we began the initial planning and looking at this concept. Early 2021, we continued with the development, and we're looking for a May 3rd implementation. As I said before, it will initially service all RSB size 2XL and larger customers. And there'll be updated people, process, and tools to support. Mid to late 2021, we will be moving into phase 2 planning, which would be to define the requirements to expand this service beyond the 2XL and above customers. We'll have to look, of course, at tools, process, support assessments, availability, pricing, needs assessments, the full, we'll do a full analysis of this and probably do a consult to figure out, hey, how can we best support the community with these Premier Support Plan. And then in phase 2, which will be sometime in 2022, hopefully Q1, maybe Q2 possibly, there'll be a phase 2 implementation, which would expand the offering to additional organizations. Next slide, please. So just this is just in greater detail, just shows out the different phases. The phase 1 that I've already covered, as you can see, late 2020, early 2021 is when we plan to implement it. Next slide is the phase 2 implementation, which late 2021 is when we'll begin the planning. We need to get the feedback from phase 1. We need to see exactly how this is going to impact, how many requests, how many escalations we'll be seeing, how many people use the 24/7 line, how often we actually have a reason to be called during off hours on the weekend in the middle of the night because of our services. So there'll be a lot of analysis and a lot of planning going into that, and then hopefully by 2022, next year, first quarter, we'll be able to offer this support plan out to other customers that would like to take advantage of it. Next slide. That's it. That's all I have. Any questions?
John, we do have one question in the question and answer queue. Yeah. Oh, it looks like it was just answered.
Well, the question, yeah, I think it doesn't change in the least was the answer.
Okay. If nothing else, then I will pass it back to.
Oh, John, it looks like we do have a hand up from Chris Tassett.
Okay.
Chris, I'm going to go ahead and allow you to talk.
Thank you. So I was, can you hear me okay, John?
Yes.
Okay. I was curious about the transfer fee waiver. Does that apply to specific transactions to which those tickets apply, or to parties who are registered for that service while they're registered? I'm just curious as to how that works.
I'm not sure I'm catching your question, Chris.
Well, is it, so are parties going to be permanently enrolled in this program and therefore always subject to transfer fee waivers, or are they enrolled for a specific period of time to deal with specific?
For phase one, I think I got your question out. For phase one, the customers that we're enrolling in phase one will be enrolled in for as long as they're within those, meet the criteria of the 2XL and larger organizations.
Okay, thank you.
John, if I could speak to this a bit.
Sure, go ahead, John.
So recognize that 2XL customers are large, 2XL large customers are customers who their fees are more than $32,000 annually. Some of these customers have very modest support requirements, but are paying significant fees. The place that we've seen where there's work involved that's actually additive to our process is when we seek a nominal transfer fee from an organization already paying a significant amount from ARIN, and it slows down their process. We realize that for organizations of this size, it's possible to waive the transfer fees because they are involved in a lot of transactions. And the amount of work actually is nominal because we worked out smooth interactions. Actually, in many cases, the fee can actually be the longest pole in the tent in getting the job done. So the Premier Support Plan is envisioned to be a new permanent ongoing program. As long as the program exists, organizations that qualify in that tier category will be part of the program. We're also trying to figure out how to expand it, but we really have to get a grip on costs. The one other thing I would add is that it's worth realizing that we have support for our operational services 24/7, every day of the week. We monitor our systems and we maintain them. The off-hour support that's referenced in the Premier Support Plan is about particular customer requests. Sometimes our services are fine, but the customers need assistance putting in a ticket or getting something processed to utilize our services. Our services are supported 24/7 for everyone, but we don't assist people with tickets. That would change for Premier Support customers.
Thanks, John. So there's some other questions on here. I'm going to reply to Frank. Frank Bulk, FiberNet, asks, is there a risk this creates two tiers of ARIN service and support? Yes, there's always that risk. However, ARIN is committed to ensure that the service that we provide to our customers today is not affected because we offer some organizations that require it and need to have a higher level of service, request that and be given that service. It won't affect the service today. We will not go out to taking 4 days to answer tickets because we are escalating on other tickets that are for larger customers. So we'll manage all of that. As John said, that's part of what we have to figure out as to what these services cost so that we can then offer them to everyone. And that goes to, Lee had a question there that disappeared, asking if somebody that wanted to pay 2XL fees could get this service. I'm sure we'd be very happy for that, but that's not what we envision. We don't envision that we're going to have people pay 2XL fees in order to get the service. That just was the group that we included to actually look into and study these plans. John, do you have anything else on that?
No, I think in phase 2, when we understand our costs better, we can figure out how we can expand it to more customers. And so it's right now we're rolling it out with a limited set because clearly we don't want to. Some of this may actually help improve our ability to support customers. Some of these customers already have, as I said, we're actually smoothing some of our interactions, but we want to make sure we don't incur additional costs to ARIN needlessly. Need to understand if we expand it to more customers, what that would be. And so for now, it's preliminary program, but once we've run for a while, we'll be able to talk a lot more about where the program goes long term.
Okay, Don, to Don's question, if we follow the criteria for this support, when we'll be notified? You'll be notified very soon now that we have announced this. You'll be getting an email from both from RSD management as well as the analyst that will be assigned to your account. And Mercia, so there's 58 2XL and above customers. There's like 6,500 other RSP customers. All right, I don't see any more.
There was a question that said, will 2XL organizations be automatically enrolled?
Yes.
Yes, 2XL is automatically enrolled, and that will be happening between now and the May 3rd kickoff.
And there was another question, will legacy IPv4 resources be covered under LRSA, be included in the Premier support plan?
And that's to be determined. We have a challenge in that the LRSA customers agreed to certain services and got a fee cap. We don't know how we'll treat our Premier services with respect to people under the fee cap of the LRSA.
Okay, I think we're caught up, and I think that should do it. And I'll hand it off to the next presenter.
Mark Costers.
Next presenter is Mark Costers. Mark, if you would give our IRR, RPKI, and password security update.